Hey everyone, my name is Bryon Howard. I'm a Calgary realtor who has sold an average of a house a week since moving to this great city in 2003. And this is Calgary Living. I'm interviewing Calgary's top performers as it relates to living and lifestyle in our great city. Some of the podcasts will be real estate decision specific, but most will be about life in Calgary and why we choose to live here, or at least why you should visit. Thanks for tuning in. Well, folks, it's a pleasure to have a great chat with Kylee Toth Ohler. Kylie's an old friend at this point. I first met her probably about 2009 at the Vert 180, which was an annual event at Canada Olympic Park focused on how many vert can you do ski mountaineering gear in 180 minutes, so 3 hours. So I was kind of blown away by even the thought of doing it when I first met Kylee. And at that time, I actually did a bit of a fun interview with Kylee on my new flip phone camera. Well, Kylie's been a 3-time Canadian Ski Mountaineering Champion and has represented Canada with another female and competed in the Pierre Menta in France. She most recently has done a 11.5-hour speed ascent on the tallest mountain here in Alberta, Mount Columbia, and that was in June of 2020, where now she holds the fastest known time. So this was a fun chat with Kylee as she's recently launched her coaching company. It's all of your fitness lifestyle, where Kylie's focus is not only on the body and training the body, but the soul and the mind. So I hope you enjoy this chat with Kylee. It was fun to reconnect and see her grow as an athlete and as a mother and launching all of your fitness lifestyles. Without further ado, here is my and Kylee's chat. And we are recording. Well, I am pleased, honored, and it's a privilege to have Kylie Oler on the show this evening. Kylie's a longtime friend that I originally met through ski mountaineering racing. And recently I got an email from Kylee that she seems to have launched a new business called All of Your Fitness Lifestyle. Kylee, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Bryon.
It's really great to catch up. The last time I saw you was in a parking lot at the Columbia Ice Fields in early June. Actually, you were doing something cool. And the following weekend that you did the fastest known attempt on Columbia Mountain.
Yeah, we were getting ready to do fastest known time on Columbia, which we successfully did. But yeah, we probably either saw you after or before. I don't know.
Just the weekend before. It was awesome. Congratulations on that. So Kylee, I start my show often with asking my guests like yourself about Calgary and what most strikes you about living in Calgary.
Yeah, I grew up in Calgary. I moved here when I was very, very small. So I'd consider it my home for forever, pretty much. And I love the city. It has beautiful parks and I live outside of the city in Bearspaw. And yeah, it's a beautiful area. We're pretty lucky with the proximity to the mountains too. That's what keeps me here.
I can see that. You came from a background of speed skating, and then was your next big endeavor ski mountaineering? What's the history of Kylee in the sport background?
Yeah, so I started speed skating at age 5 at the Olympic Oval at the U of C because it's the best place in Canada. A lot of people don't know that. It's the only indoor oval, one of the only indoor ovals in Canada when I was a kid. So it was a great sport to take up. And raced very competitively from 5 to early 20s. Then I wanted to shift focus on to university, and I had a friend that said, why don't you come backcountry skiing? So I did, and I just fell in love with the sport. And then I heard there was a competitive aspect, and being a former athlete, I still had that competitive itch. So I took it up, and I love it. It's a great sport.
And you've been leading the Canadian National Ski Mountaineering team for probably at least the last 10 years in terms of COVID times. What's happened the last couple of years, and what do you think the future is for ski mountaineering as you know it, and competitive ski mountaineering? And what is ski mountaineering? Tell us. Tell the audience.
Yeah, you're right. I've now been in the sport probably longer than I speed skated, almost becoming a veteran of ski mountaineering in Canada. The sport essentially entails using skins or kind of like sticky carpets to hike up a hill. And then you rip them off and you basically have downhill skis to descend. And so that's kind of the short version of what we do. It's mass start racing and kind of like track and field cross country. We all race together and first person to cross the line wins. It's well developed in Europe, so we're still kind of a bit behind in North America, but that's something I'm really passionate about and probably why I've stayed in the sport this long is just the potential for it to grow. And it's such a pure, awesome, fun sport. And I'd love to see a younger generation get involved in it. There's an international ski mountaineering federation that's hoping to have it included in the Olympics. And I do really see it going that way, barring COVID not continuing forever, but I do see it going that way in the next decade for sure. Mm-hmm.
In your time in the sport, has the sport in Canada developed much, and is COVID sort of slowing it down? And what's happening in the next months? Is there any events planned at all in Canada or in the States for ski mountaineering racing?
Well, I have to be honest, I don't think it has grown that much in Canada. We have a core group that pushes to go to world championships every 2 years. The recreational side has a bit. We see more attendance, which is good. In North America, it certainly has. Places like Utah and Colorado, it's quite popular. COVID is bad for all sport. As we know, the Olympics were canceled. So yeah, there's not really an international scene this year. And in Canada, we don't have any races. Just with the infrastructure, just our organization is pretty small and it's hard to run, but that doesn't mean us athletes aren't staying motivated. As an older athlete on my team, I told the younger athletes, I said, this is the best opportunity you could have to build a massive base and come out just guns a-blazing. So I think it's all how you look at it. Mm-hmm.
Kylie, I was involved just before Christmas at one of our great skimo racers here, Eric Carter, put on an event. You started the event, the Vert 180 at Ken Olympic Park, which usually runs the first weekend in December. And so I was kind of looking to see if that was happening this year. I went to Instagram and I found that Skimo Canada had posted that there was an event going on, all you can vert in 180 minutes. And certainly you won the women's division of that. And tell me about that day. You did it at Sunshine, I believe. And I think you did well over 3,600 meters. Just let the audience know what happened that day.
Our coach, Eric Carter, challenged us to do 3 hours and the most vertical we could do in 3 hours. I have done Vert 180, 180 minutes for probably a decade each year. I don't know. I just felt like having more of a challenge this year. So I decided to go for 6 hours instead of 3. So I raced with one of my teammates and helped push her to a personal best for her 3 hours. And then I just kept slugging it out. I did 2.5 more hours. It was getting pretty blustery at Goatside there, pretty windy. I think pushing yourself's important and not getting bored. So why not just, tack 2 more hours?
How many vert did you do in the 180 minutes or the 3 hours? And what did you do for the day? Do you know? Do you remember?
I believe I did 2,400 for the 3 hours. And then I kept going for, I believe I did 3,550. So yeah, my pace slowed down considerably.
I thought 3,600. That's amazing. Good for you. How many laps was that for you during that 6 hours? Do you actually remember that, or the first 3 hours in terms of up and down, up and down?
I did approximately 500 meter laps. So in order to get the most vert, it's better to do longer laps because you don't have to transition as much. So that would, by intention, we looked for the best place we could find to get the most vert. That was at a ski hill because it's also slower to get vert in the backcountry. So yeah, it wasn't too bad. COP is 130 meters, so it's considerably longer at Goatside there.
And the guy that won it, I think he was from BC in terms of the most vert, and he did it cross country skis. I've been meaning to look at where he did it on what route. Do you know anything about what he was using in terms of basis? Did he have skins or what? You don't.
Yeah, no, I don't know, but a couple of the national team members are ex-Olympic biathlete, Tyson and his brother Nathan. And they were saying you can rack up a crazy amount of vert on cross-country skis if you're a high-end cross-country skier. I mean, that's amazing. I was super impressed.
Good. Kylie, coming back to real estate and lifestyle in Calgary, you've been in Calgary for a long time. You were born here. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the real estate decisions that you've made? I always like to kind of have that discussion with folks. I've only been in Calgary since 2003, so I've more or less seen two booms and two busts. And I like to have that kind of conversation. Tell me a little bit about your real estate journey, maybe growing up. Do you remember the crash in the early 80s? What was your parents doing? And how's that affected you and your mindset? And where are you at in your real estate journey in this great city?
Well, I lived in two homes in Calgary, pretty much. That's it, growing up. Ranch lands and in a tiny bungalow. And then my parents built a brand new home in Arbor Lake, which they still live in. And I remember going to that home and thinking we had gone to a palace. It was so nice. So growing up, we didn't move that much. My parents were both teachers, and it felt very stable, probably because they were both teachers. So that recession, I didn't feel that
Didn't notice.
intensely. Yeah. But then as
Do you
an adult,
remember? Do you remember the house? What year they basically built in Arbor Lake? I'm guessing maybe the late 80s or early 90s.
yeah, 90s, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Hmm.
Cool.
And it's still a great community. They've really kept it up. I grew up here, and the lake is nicer than when I grew up. And you can't say that about too many places. They've redone stuff, and so that's good. My kids enjoy going there now.
And how about yourself? How about your own real estate
Yeah.
decisions?
Yeah, as an adult, with my first job, I rented downtown because I worked as a junior accountant and I liked to walk to work. So that was super fun, having a trendy little apartment. And then when I got married, we bought a 1930s log cabin in Bowness. So on 33rd Avenue, it was so cute with a humongous yard. There's some wonderful properties in Bowness with huge yards. And it was really fascinating. A picture of it was actually in the Glenbow Museum. And in between the logs is horsehair. So it was very authentic. But then I quickly got pregnant with my first child, and it was tiny. So we would have had to do a very, very major renovation. So at that time, we moved up to Silver Springs, and we actually bought an acreage in Silver Springs. It's rare, but there were 2 acreages. Yeah. And actually, I have to give kudos to the realtor. We have a great realtor, and he kind of always knew what we were looking for and put the bug in our ear when he had something good. So that's how we got into that one. We always wanted to be out of the city. And I think each successive move, we got more land, but it wasn't enough land. So our final move, we went to Bearspaw and bought 26 acres. And that was quite lovely. And we were nervous about buying that because it's a big investment. And with the economy and all that, we're in the landscape construction industry. So not tied to oil and gas, but we're all a little bit tied to oil and gas. But we decided to purchase it anyways and haven't regretted that at all. Actually, an interesting thing with that one is to make it a little bit more affordable. So the actual property was 28 acres, and our realtor asked the neighbor if you wanted to purchase 2 acres. So we ended up just doing a property line adjustment. It's very, very expensive to subdivide because we would have had to upgrade the road and everything, but the property line movement wasn't. And so that helped offset the cost, and it's a good fit.
Well, that's fantastic. And roughly what year did you buy that acreage? Was it in the last 10 years?
That was 8 years ago.
Well, it sounds like your real estate decisions have been like good, solid. I have a lot of conversations these days with folks that have purchased and had to sell. and came out losing. It sounds like your timing has been pretty good.
Well, we like really unusual properties, and it can be a bit of a gamble, but in our case, it's
done well
really
for you.
well. Yeah.
That's the tiny log cabin in Bowness to the acreage in Silver Springs to, another acreage in Bondra. That sounds like a really great story. Good for you. And how about the boom and bust economy of Calgary? I mean, in terms of your own network and friends that have been affected by it, how does it affect you, or how do you save for a rainy day? Maybe tie that into your new business, all of your fitness lifestyle. Tell us about that as well.
Yeah, I'm kind of a half glass full person, to be honest, almost all the time. So it does help that we're in the construction industry and mostly do commercial and multifamily. And honestly, we haven't seen much of a slowdown. Very fortunate. I think that infrastructure in Calgary is still going. And I love Albertans. I know that's not a popular sentiment sometimes, but I do. And I think that they're resourceful and hardworking. And I really think with COVID and oil and gas, I think our province is going to get through this and be strong. So that's my take on it. But then I'm a half glass full person. I do know people who have lost their jobs, but you know what? It pushed them to do other things. So All of You Fitness is something I've been
Great
wanting
name.
to
I
start.
love it. I love it. And it sounds just
Yeah.
like you. It's perfect. Tell us about it.
So All of You Fitness, the name itself is because I have spent 30 years of my life training my body, but I also have trained my mind through sport. And being a personal trainer and a group exercise instructor, I saw so many people training their body, but not looking at themselves as a person. So their mind and their soul. And I just became so passionate about addressing that aspect as well to achieve health success. So All of You Fitness, I have training programs, personal training and coaching. And my approach encompasses sports psychology and some journaling approaches as well. So a mental training aspect, because I can't underestimate you to do push-ups and run all day long, but if you don't address your motivation or maybe why you're overeating or why you're doing a lot of stuff, it's really hard to achieve health. So that would be why I started All of You Fitness, to incorporate all of you, body, soul, and mind. Yeah, so it does programming, and I also have jewelry, and I'm going to put some local art on it as well. It's all mountain inspired, which is where I spend a lot of time and very fitting for the Calgary landscape. And that's kind of the heart behind it.
I spent some time on the site, and they look like really interesting programs, and I thought quite affordable.
Yeah, I think it's a good price point. Mm-hmm.
Really nice, yeah. And with the launch of All Your Fitness, that's very exciting. What else is exciting going on in your life? What are some of your goals in the next 12 months or training goals?
So with the racing kind of on the sidelines, it's given us some time to think about some bigger mountain objectives. So I'm pushing more into the mountaineering aspect of the sport, which is fun, and have some speed attempts planned for the spring. So that's motivating on the athletic side. And then just launching this business. My kids are both in full-time school, which has been a timely time to start this, and just getting my feet under me after being a home mom for 8-9 years, which me home moms listen to this. It is the hard job, and you acquire a lot of skills from doing that. So don't underestimate that.
Absolutely. As we're having this interview and Kylie's giving kisses goodnight to the boy who runs downstairs. Lovely. Yes. Well, Kylie, coming sort of towards an end of things here, I would like to ask 2 questions. Maybe the first, what advice would you give to your younger self?
That's a good question. I would have told my younger self to be more patient. I was in a rush. I feel like, get through university, get a job, get married, do all of these things. And I would have said, just like, slow down a bit, smell the roses. It's okay. Yeah.
Well, as a top performing athlete, I certainly understand that it must be, there's two different things going on there, right? Slow down and skull the roses and don't be in a rush. But yet being the super competitive person that you be, well, that's a balancing act, I'm sure. And Kylie, if you had the opportunity to have a billboard, what would it say?
Oh, what would it say? Now that is a tricky question. Oh man, I think it would say consistency is key. Not very exciting, but that in my life
The
that
truth.
has proven time and time again with fitness, with business, with relationships, just day in, day out. Sometimes it's not fun, but you just keep doing it. And that would be it.
And that's great. Kylie, you're an inspiration. I love following you on social. What's the best way for people to reach out to you? And how do people follow you? What's the best way to reach out?
Yeah, you can follow my athlete journey at Kylee Toth at Instagram. Or my website is allofyoufitnesslifestyle.com. And just send me a message or check out the website. I love engaging with people.
Kylie, thank you so much for being on the show. I look forward to seeing you in the mountains.
Yeah, me too. Hopefully we will see each other before the Columbia ice field.
Absolutely. Over and out. Thank you, Kylie.
Okay, thanks, Bryon. Okay, bye.
Well, that was a fun chat with Kylie. I hope you enjoyed the show as much as I enjoyed reconnecting with Kylie. If you have questions on Calgary real estate or you know somebody who shouldn't be on the show, please reach out to me. You can find me on Insta at Calgary_living or just Google Bryon Howard and we'll connect. I look forward to connecting with you. Reach out anytime. I love to hear your questions, your comments, and your feedback.
And I will.